Hi everyone, welcome to Vap Fashion's YouTube channel. My name is Eunice. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with us how I made this beautiful bustier with an overlapping Queen Anne's yoke. You can see our Queen Anne's yoke, how it sits and it goes under the armhole of the bustier, and it has these beautiful drapes in front of the skirt part, and it also has this keyhole at the back. This is really beautiful and very simple to make. I hope this is something you are interested in learning. Please make sure to keep on watching till the end. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly click on the subscribe button to subscribe and ensure to put on your notification bell so you get a notification every time I upload a new video. Thank you, and let's get right into the video. Already I have my Princess Armhole Bustier pattern drafted out already. This is our front pattern and this is the back pattern. So we'll be using this pattern to achieve our Queen Anne's yoke. So if you haven't seen my video on how to draft and cut a Princess Armhole Bustier, I'll be dropping the link in the description box. I have several videos on how to draft and cut a Princess Armhole Bustier. So today our area of concentration is on how to achieve our Queen Anne's yoke. It's a detachable Queen Anne's yoke. It's separate from the actual bustier. Okay, so that's it. So without wasting time, let's get right into the video. So here is our front shoulder line. Of course, this is the front pattern and this is the back pattern. So I'll be working with a neck width of 2.5 inches. So I want this neck width to the neckline to be really close to the nape, that's to the high point of the neck. So here I'm working with 2.5 inches. Now, the actual neckline of my client is 3 inches. I reduced it by half inch. This is because I want the Queen Anne's yoke to be really close to the neck, to give that a little built-up effect. I hope you understand. Not really, I'm not going higher, but we need it to be very close so that it closes up very well. So when you divide my client's bust by 12, it gave me 3 inches. It gave me 2.8, so that's about 3 inches. So I subtracted half inch from it and I'm using 2.5. So you want to do that also depending on how close you want your Queen Anne's yoke to be. So here I'm working with 2.5 inches and this is it here. Okay, so from the chest line I'm going to come down by 1 inch. This is our front chest line and I'm coming down by 1 inch. So I'm going to bring in my armhole curve and then I'm going to draw the yoke the way we want it to be, or the way I want it to be. And you see, I'm going to take it this way. I think I prefer this shape. So can you see? And then remember I came down by 1 inch. So I'm just going to take this like this. This is a 1 inch mark here. So I'll connect it to this point. So this is going to be the Queen Anne's yoke. So I'm just going to use my marker to highlight this point so it is very clear. Now to do that, to highlight this point, I'm going to place another paper underneath. Okay, so I'm using my marker to do this because I don't have my tracing wheel here. So if you have a tracing wheel, all you need to do is to place another paper underneath and then trace out this pattern. I need this Queen Anne's yoke. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my pattern again, my armhole curve, and then I'm going to trace it out. So using my marker, I know that it will appear on the other side of the paper. Okay, so I'll also trace out the shoulder line. I'll trace out this 1 inch mark I came down by from here. And then I'm going to trace out the armhole line too. That's this armhole shape here. So here, trace it out here as well. So this is it. You can see. So I can actually see my markings. So let me quickly draw it out. So here, you see? So it's faint, but I can actually see it. So like I said, please use a tracing wheel. I'm making this video at home. I don't have my tracing wheel here in the house. And then this is our shoulder slant here. And then this is the armhole here. Okay. And this is it here. So you can actually see that it actually looks like exactly what I have traced out here. So let me cut out this pattern and show us and place it on it so that we are sure that we have exactly the same thing. So can you see? It's exactly the same shape. So now we have our yoke. So let's keep this aside. So the next thing we're going to do is to introduce a sweetheart neckline. So here is the chest line. I'll be working with the chest line. That's how deep the neckline is going to be. The depth of the sweetheart neckline is going to be. So I'm going to place my curve this way. Now, from the shoulder slant, I'll be coming down by, let's say, 4.5 inches. No, let's do 5. And then I'm going to place the armhole curve like this. So just get the shape of the neckline you want. So once you have what you're comfortable with, this is it here. So I like this shape. I'm going to draw. You see? So this is it. So I'm also going to use my marker to introduce, that's to draw out the shape. This is just so that we highlight it, so that we know which is which. So this is our sweetheart neckline. Okay, so right now we are done with the front because we have our Queen Anne's yoke already. So we're going to be tightening this yoke. We're going to be tightening this yoke because if you leave it like this, by the time we stitch them together, we're going to have this gaping around here. You need this yoke to sit as flat as possible. So to do that, what I'll be doing is this. I'll get the midpoint of the shoulder. So from here to here, I have 5 inches. So here I'll just get the midpoint, which is 2.5. And then I'm going to draw a straight line from there. Can you see? Just draw a straight line from there. Can you see that? So I haven't drawn a straight line. I'm going to be doing a dart intake of ½ inch on both sides. So I'll mark ½ inch on both sides of the line. So that means I'm doing a dart intake of 1 inch. So I'll do this. I'll connect this to the shoulder line like this. And then I'll connect this to the shoulder line. So now this is it. So I'm going to be tightening this part. So to tighten it, I'm going to place one dart on the other. Can you see? So this is now our tightening. Can you see that this point now has shifted? Can you see what is happening here? This point has shifted. So let me bring in my masking tape. So here I have my masking tape. I'm taping down the yoke. So we're not going to leave this yoke this way. We have to through it. Can you see that this side has come down? So we have to make them align with each other. So I'm going to now place the yoke again on my plain sheet of paper like this. And I'll use my tape to tape it down. My pattern like this. You can see I have to through this part again. So to through it, I'll bring in my armhole curve again like this. And then I'm going to trace out. You see? So that right now I do not have any more shortage. And this Queen Anne's yoke is not going to gape. That there will be no gaping. It will sit well. So I'm going to cut out. So now this is now the actual pattern I'll be working with. So this is how to tighten your Queen Anne's yoke. So we're going to set our yoke aside and it is ready. So we'll treat the bustier part. So already I said that this is the neckline. That's the sweetheart neckline we're going to be working with. So at the back here, I'm going to have a keyhole. I'm going to have a keyhole here at the back. So remember, we're working with a neck width of 2.5 inches, and this is where 2.5 inches is. I will come down by a neck depth of 1 inch, and then I'm going to mark it. So this is it. So the neckline, let's just allow it to extend into the zip allowance. So next, I'm going to come down from this neck depth of 1 inch. I'll come down by 2.5 inches. So come down by 2.5 inches, and this is our dart leg here. This is the dart point, okay? So I'm going to bring in my armhole curve and connect from this 2.5 inches I came down here and connect to this point. You see? So I'll be cutting out this part. This part is going to give us the keyhole at the back. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is to tighten the center back. We have our zip allowance of 1.5 inches. I'll be taking away half of this here to tighten the back. So half of 1.5 is 3/4 inch, which is 0.75. Sometimes I do half inch. This depends on the person I'm working with. But for this person, I realized that half inch will not do justice to her back tightening. So that is why I'm taking out step 0.75. Okay, so I'm going to connect this 0.75 here all the way to the neckline. Can you see? So now this is it. Here is the point where the zip allowance will stop. For this part, I'm just going to have button loops holding the yoke together. So this is basically like a yoke at the upper part, but we're not going to cut it out. We're not separating it. We're not going to be using lace for this part, okay? It's just going to be our brocade fabric that we're going to be using for this part. So I'm going to just extend this line, that's the chest line, and stop here. So at this point, we're going to have our yoke. I'm sorry, we're going to have our loop sitting like this. I just need about 2, but this is just me showing us what we are going to be working with. So this part, we're going to cut out this part, and this is how the back will be. So you can see right now we are done with our pattern. We have our back keyhole and we have the front queen and yoke. Okay, so this is it. So like I said, if you don't know how to draft the princess armhole bustier, please, I'll be dropping the link in the description box so that you can watch and learn how to achieve this. Okay, so this is it. So now I'll bring in my scissors and we'll cut out our pattern. I'll be starting with the back pattern. So this is me cutting out the zipper bulge. So here. Okay. So this is our neckline. I'm cutting out the keyhole. So first I'm going to close the bust dart. So to close the bust dart, you have to open the waist dart first. So I'll cut out this dart first. Okay, I haven't gotten to the bust point. Now I'll go ahead and close the bust dart. So to close bust dart, which is 2 inches, and that's the difference between the front and back half length. So the front length is 17, while the back length is 15 inches. So it is 2 inches I marked here. So can you see now that I've closed the bust dart? So by closing the bust dart, can you see that the points have shifted? You see? So I'll bring in my masking tape and tape it down here also. So, and then I'm going to reblend. So these points now that has shifted, I have to reblend it, okay? So just use this and connect it back. Okay, so now we can cut out the side. two pieces. I'll add half inch round here at this side. Then on this side, I'm going to add my 2 inches for sewing allowance. For this one will be cut on fold. I'll add half inch on this side, okay? And then for the Queen Anne's yoke, I'm going to add half inch round it. So for the back here, I'll also add my sewing allowance of 2 inches on this side, and then I'll add half inch on this side, half inch on this side. This side, I'll also add half inch and half inch on this side. So I'll cut out the patterns and show us. Okay, I've gone ahead to cut out all my pieces and I've added the necessary allowances. So let's start with the center front. This is our center front piece. I ironed hasty to the brocade fabric and also ironed my pad, which is also known as wadding. That's breast pad, okay? So here on the lining, I ironed gum stay to the neckline. This is to give the neckline some form of stability so that it's sharp, okay? So and you can see that the front piece was cut on fold. Like I said, you can see that it's open right now. And this is our side piece. I've also ironed hasty to the main fabric and I ironed my pad also. And then here I also have two linings, one for the left and one for the right. And I've added the necessary allowances. So this is the back piece. I cut the lining and the fabric. I added my allowance. And then to the neckline, this part where I have the keyhole. This part where I have the keyhole, I ironed gum stay to it on the lining. I did the same thing on the lining. So you want to iron gum stay so that it gives it some form of stability when you are sewing. So here I have this fabric I'll be using to create the button loop at the back. I'll just be fixing one button at the back. So I'm going to stitch this fabric. You can see it's on fold like this. This is 3/4 inch. I'll be stitching on 1/4 inch and then I'll turn it out. I'll be using it to create the button loop at the back. And then here, this is our Queen Anne's yoke. I cut two pieces each, two pieces for the left and two pieces for the right. And I'm using the brocade to line it. That's the material to line it. I didn't cut lining for this because it will be up, okay? So I'm using the fabric to line it. On the one that will serve as the lining, I ironed gum stay. It's a lightweight gum stay. And then this is the main fabric. So for the second one, you can also see an iron gum stay. So one will serve as the lining, one will serve as the fabric. So right now it's time for us to stitch our pieces together. So for the Queen Anne's yoke, I'm going to take this to my machine and stitch here on half inch, like this, on half inch on this curve. I'll repeat the same thing here, and then I'll turn it out from the armhole. So for the bustier, I'm going to place the side piece over the center piece, like this. So side piece over the center piece, and I'll stitch on half inch all the way. I'll repeat the same thing on this side. I'll stitch on half inch all the way. I'll repeat the same thing on the lining as well. So for the back piece, this is what I'm going to be doing. I already told us what I'll be doing with the loop. So I'll place the back piece, the satin, that's the lining facing the right side of the fabric. And then I'm going to stitch from the neckline this way, take it down this way, the yoke this way, and then I'll turn my lining also at the side. So for the one that will have the button loop, I'm going to place the button loop in between the fabric and the lining here, like this. That's after I must have stitched the button loop already. And then I'm going to sew the neckline on half inch this way, this way, this way, this way. And then I'll turn the sides and stitch my dart. I'll do the same thing for the second piece. Then I'll give it a good press and come back and show us what we have. Stitching our bustier. And you see I've given it a very good press. I can see the bustier is sitting very, very pretty. And this is what it looks like on the reverse side. I made sure to iron the same lines open. I ironed it very well and I used my hasty to keep it open. So this is what we have. You see? So I also stitched the yoke, and this is what our yoke looks like. Be having it sit on it like this. But before that time, I have this lace. The lace is what we're using for the sleeve of this gown. So I want to have the lace tip, that's the scallop part of the lace at the tip of this sweetheart neckline. So as you can see, it's a long strip. So to achieve that sweetheart shape, I'm going to try to make it a V shape. Okay, I'm going to try to make it a V shape. So to do that, I need to have the scallop part of the lace sitting on the neckline to give me a shape like this. So the only way I can achieve it is by placing it like this, and then I'm going to draw a slanted line. You see? So now at the scallop part of the lace, I went in by 2 inches and I slanted it to the down part. So let's pin it so that we can see. So I haven't pinned it. So let me open it up. So can you see now that I have a V shape? You see? So it's giving the V shape. So I'm going to trim out the excess that I have here, leaving half inch because we'll be stitching it together on half inch. And this is what we are going to have. So by the time I stitch together, we're going to have this. So I'll place it on the neckline here. Now this is it. I won't be stitching it to the main fabric. I'll be stitching it to the lining. So I'm going to place it this way. You see? So I'll place it this way. And then I'm going to pin. I'm pinning to the lining alone. I'm pinning to the lining. You want to make sure that the V shape is centralized. So I'm making sure that it's exactly at the middle where I have my sweetheart neckline. So I'm also going to pin this way like this. So just lift it up and place like this. Okay, so here we are. So now the center, I will also pin it down. Okay, so this is what we have. You see? So this is what we're going to have. So now I'll take this to my sewing machine. First, I'm going to stitch this center. After stitching it, then I'm going to run a stitch. I'll have to open up my lining like this. So I'll be running a stitch like this, following the shape. Make sure that I'm not stitching on the fabric. So I'm just going to stitch it and come back and show us what we have. After stitching the scallop part of the lace, this is what I have, and this is what it looks like on the right side. So now it's time for us to place the Queen Anne's yoke. So here is our yoke. I'm going to place it this way. I want to make sure that it aligns with the armhole here. So remember, it's an Armhole Princess Bustier. I have an excess. I'll be trimming out the excess from the armhole area. And this is it here. I'm going to secure with my pin. So I'll stitch it down this way. So I'll bring in the other side of the yoke and also place it like this. So this is it. You have to make sure that they're on the same level. I'm noticing that one is a bit higher than the other. So I'm going to pin it this way. So this is what our yoke looks like. So can you see our neckline is looking narrower? This is because it's not on the body of my client yet. So by the time she wears it, it will open up to give us that 5 inches, which is the width of the neckline. Remember, we used the neckline of 2.5 inches on fold. So by the time it is open, it will be 5 inches. So you can see the space I have here. This height is going to be on her body, of course. So from here to here, it's going to give us about that 5 inches. So I'll take this to my sewing machine and stitch it this way, stitch this part. I'll also stitch this part and stitch this way, and then trim out the excess I have on the armhole. Then I'll come and show us how we're sewing this. Then I'll come back and show us how to create the drapes we're going to have on the down part of the skirt. So after stitching the Queen Anne's yoke, this is what we have. And you see how beautiful it is. It's sitting really well. So we have it not gaping, despite the fact that it's just on a flat surface. This is because we tightened the yoke. So you want to make sure to always tighten your yoke so that it sits perfectly well. This is what it looks like on the reverse side. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to bring in the down part that we're going to be draping on. The down part is going to have this stylish pleats, which is called drapes. Here I have my pencil skirt pattern. I have done several videos on how to draft, cut and sew a pencil skirt on this channel. So if you don't know how to draft, cut and sew a pencil skirt, I'll be dropping the link in the description box. The area of concentration is on creating the drapes. So here, this is the leftover brocade. Let's keep this aside. So for the drapes, it will go from right to left. So, like I said, that the drape will be going from right to left. So this is the right side of our skirt. So from the waistline here, I'm going to measure 20 inches. 20 inches, this is just an inch above the knee of the person I'm making this outfit for. And then here on the side, I'm going to measure from waist to 10 inches, which is on our hip line. Okay, so we're going to have the drape running this way. So here's our brocade fabric. We'll need to place the fabric on bias. So this is our leftover. So this is what I mean by on bias. Can you see that now that the fabric is slanted, this is the savage of our fabric here. So I'm placing it like this in a triangular form. And you see, I'm not placing it straight. This is so that we can achieve that well-relaxed pleat on the waistline. So now I'm going to place my fabric this way. Please watch carefully what I'm doing. I'm not placing it straight. I'm placing it in a triangle shape. Can you see? So you can see this edge here. So first I'm going to pin like this. So I'm pinning the waistline of the skirt. I'll pin this side as well. So I haven't pinned. So I'm going to go ahead now and start creating the pleat. You can either decide to take it downwards or upwards. So I'm going to be pleating upwards in this case. So I'll pin it this way. So I'm just creating a random pleat. This is about 2 inches. So here, I'm going to create another pleat. Then I'll take the next one. So I'll keep pinning. So now I'm going to check underneath. Remember, I marked the point where I want the pleats to stop. So on this side, I marked on 20 inches. So I haven't gotten to that point. So I'll keep pleating. It's going to be the last one. And this last one, I'm just going to tuck it in. Because you can see that here my fabric is no longer straight. So I'll just cut out what I have here and tuck in the last one. Watch carefully the way I'm cutting my fabric. I'm not cutting it straight. I'm cutting it slightly. So this is now going to be the last point. So I'll have it this way. Can you see? So this is what our pleats looks like. So I'll need my pressing iron to give it a very, very good press so that it's well relaxed. You see? So it just goes from one side. This is the lower side and this goes higher. So I'm going to turn it now to the wrong side here. This is so that I can see the shape of my skirt and then cut out the excess that we do not need. So that's the essence of pinning it down so that everything sits well. Anywhere that is not sitting well, I'll take off my pin and secure it very well. So now I'll cut out the excess fabric. Okay, so this is what we have. So I think I need to take this place a little higher. So I'm just going to push it up higher so that this part is more lower than it is. So now that I've cut out my fabric, it is more easier to work with. So I will not have a bulk of fabric. I'll be seeing everything while I repin it. So I remember my fabric is stretching now because it is on bias. So I'm going to pleat it. So I want it to go up, this part to go up like this. So it slants well. I'll pin the first point. And then I'll go ahead and pin like this now. So you realize that I'm now pleating it downwards since I now have the actual fabric I want to work with. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to give it a very good press and make sure it is well relaxed. And then I'll take this to my sewing machine and stitch it down like this and also stitch it down. Then I'll go ahead and use my lining to turn the hem and also the sides and join it to the upper bodice and come back and show us what we have. Okay, so after giving the drapes a very good press, this is what I have. Can you see how beautiful it came out? And our gown is ready. Everything is sitting really well. The Queen Anne's yoke, as you can see, is sitting so beautiful. The keyhole is sitting so pretty. I also went ahead to create this beautiful structured puffy sleeve you see here. I made a detailed video on how to create the puffy sleeve. That's the structured puffy sleeve you see here. And I'm going to be uploading it in my next video. I hope you have learned something from this video. If you did, please make sure to like this video, share this video with your friends, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.